When many times society or some external thing is influencing how we want to raise our children. So I'll give you an example. I was recently talking to a friend uh, who told me that, I was asking her, did you play sports in school when you were in school? She's like, no, I couldn't play much sports because every morning when I went, and then there was some PE or some games, basketball, something in the morning, and I was always sick and nauseous in the morning. And she was like, and then she went on to explain that every morning when my mother would make me drink a cup of milk, that you have to finish this cup of milk before you go. And she like, it made me sick, and I was like always fighting back, but she was like, no, this you have to drink and go. And she's like, that milk, until much later in life, she probably realized that, you know, that lactose wasn't working well for her. But and the mom obviously was coming from a good space. She wanted to, make sure you eat the right food and nourish you get the right nourishment. But she was in her 30s, and she still feels that, and her experience is that she could not play sports throughout school because she was nauseous every morning and she felt sick from drinking milk every day. And I mean, it's a small thing, but for the parent to think, and then we're parenting from a script, like this is the right thing to do, right? It's right thing to make your kids drink milk every morning. And but is it really, and is it really the right thing for my child? Is it really for the right thing for the child I'm parenting, versus one generic rule that we follow, and a script that we follow. So, and this happens many times in parenting, that uh, as mothers, as fathers as well, I'm sure that you have this belief that whatever society is telling us, this is what I should be doing. There is some shoulds that we feel we need to raise our kids with. And there's definite value in questioning that, is this really true? Is this is what I should be doing, right? So, and you can think back in your own small ways or big ways. Where is it that you had uh, some some inner voice telling you that this is what, this is how you should be doing, this is what the child needs in this time. But then you went along with whatever it is that society expected, school expected, or this is what my mother always said is the right thing. So where are those patterns, those scripts that we bring into our parenting? So just again, take a minute to reflect. Are there choices that I've made in my parenting? Are there choices I'm still continuing to make in my parenting? Like, could be small things like, if I'm attending let's say a wedding function or a party, and there's an outfit, and I want my child to be dressed up in this outfit. And sometimes, I've had it with my daughter. She'll be like, no, I don't wear this. It's not comfortable on my skin. It's a very pretty thing. It's got a lot of beautiful things happening. And then, but the child is not comfortable wearing that, or comfortable, wearing the shoes that go with that outfit. And then we are like, the child is feeling uncomfortable that, oh, these shoes hurt me. But then we are like, no, but it goes with the outfit. I need a picture in this, right? Could be something as little as that. And then do we make that space and allow and say, no, it's okay. You don't have to wear this. You can, you know, look like, like you don't have the right fit for, or the right uh, outfit that should be the right one for this occasion. But then, wear something that you're comfortable in. Like it's just a small thing, but are we listening to that our own voice and the voice of the child? Where are we coming from? So really, this is more about and in terms of what practices, what we can do, like those little things that we can do in the moment, when we are getting triggered, when something happening, is really small things. It's really, if we can just for that, before we respond, can we really just take 2 deep breaths and bring ourselves back and to our, you know, to really being present in the moment and then respond from what is this child wanting from us. And or if like, you have sometimes teenagers, they start becoming, very, what we describe as, oh, suddenly this child has become so rude and they're talking back to me, and this is how they are, they're disrespecting me, right? When they're talking, they're saying things, and then in that moment, when I'm just getting triggered, can I just take a minute, as they say, just bring your attention to the soles of your feet, and from that grounded space, can I just take a minute and see where is this child coming from? What's probably gone on in his day? What's happened today that, the child is behaving or just responding, reacting in this way? Why are they speaking back to me? And if we can just bring that much uh, awareness and that much centering to ourselves before we respond, that that interaction can be so much different from the way if it would go where it was like, oh, how could you speak to me like that, you're so disrespectful, and then we go on and then it only gets worse from there on. And eventually what happens is children really shut down. They really stop telling us. When we start reacting in those ways, they stop talking to us, they stop telling us things that, that we would have liked to know. So yeah, I feel it's like I'm just talking. Does anybody want to uh, share anything, or maybe you could write something about any moments like this, and what do you do? What kind of practice? What helps you? So just think of one thing. If you want to share that in the chat. Yeah, and I'll let yeah, Vivek.
Hi, good evening. So, so I have two boys. One is 19 and one is 12. So, in fact, both of them are totally poles apart. If it's like एक एकदम साफ सुथरा रहता है, एक एकदम, one will keep everything tidy, one will keep everything messed up. One will study nicely, one is like all over the place. So I have different ways of dealing with both of them. Like I spend a lot of time listening to music with my elder son, which is like really which is actually therapeutic for both of us. And with the younger one, we do a lot of research. So, just generally some subject, we'll find something to talk about and we'll talk about it and we'll research it. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to share. I think yeah, and just being aware. Yeah, I think every time you know you mess up, you just if you're even aware that you messed up last time, can you take care of it the next time? I think that makes a
Yes.
lot of difference. So I think that's
Yes,
something
that
that's
is.
always worked with.
Yeah, yes, there is immense value in repair. There is immense value in, noticing, and, just that one time if we can apologize, okay, yes, I shouldn't have screamed at you like that. That really, that goes a long way with children, right? And like when also the other thing is, when you say two kids are very different, of course, they have their personalities, they have their, whatever the soul has brought with them. And also the thing to notice is that we are also very different. If you had two children who are maybe 5, 6 years apart, the parent you were with the first child, and then 5 years later, when you had the second child, you and your wife, I'm sure you have also grown and evolved and learned.
Mm.
And so your parenting, you're really a different person after 5 years,
Definitely.
after that much
Sure,
time.
sure.
And
Yeah,
so
totally. Yeah.
so that's also different. So this child has seen a different parent, and this child has seen a different version of a
Right.
parent, right? Might be the same, but they're not always the same parent. I'm not always the same parent, right? Could be like if some years have passed, or just my growth has I've evolved in some ways. So yeah,
Thank you.
that's something. Thank you for sharing, Vivek.